see the summary of activities involved in getting the customs clearance. This customs clearance, getting the customs clearance is the job of the clearing and forwarding agent. You need not to know in details, but this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 steps are good enough. You need not to know in details. Okay, this much is good enough for your purpose. The first is the submission of the document by clearing and forwarding agent. As I've already told you that the submission and obtaining the clearance and customs clearance is the job of the clearing and forwarding agent. So they will collect all the documents and they will submit this document to the customs office. Now, customs office, what they will do, they may verify the product physically, or in general they will see the documents, and if they found the documents are complied with all the formalities, they will give a stamp that is late export stamp, okay, by the dock appraiser. Okay, now after submission of the documents to the supervisor of the cargo loading, again the same documents will be late shipped. That means after obtaining the stamp from the dock appraiser, what you have to do? You have to submit the documents to the supervisor of the cargo loading. Okay, and cargo loading, they will put a stamp late ship. Next, you have to load the cargo on the ship and issue of the mate receipt from the captain of the ship. Now, after loading of the cargo is complete, you will get a provisional document that is known as the mate receipt from the captain of the ship. That means the shipping company will issue this mate receipt. Now, submission of the mate receipt along with the shipping bill, AR4 and AR4A to the shipping company. And finally, the very important document, that is bill of lading, is obtained from the shipping company. Okay, without this bill of lading, that's true in the original, if it is not submitted to the importers cannot take the delivery of the goods, and as well as importer will not make the payment of the goods. This bill of lading is very important, and we will discuss it in the export documentation. So let us summarize the activity related to the customs clearance. First, you have to submit the documents by the clearing and forwarding agent. The customs clearance office, they will inspect the documents, and if they are satisfied, they will put a late export stamp. The same set of documents to be submitted to the supervisor of the cargo loading or the supervisor of the shipping company, and they will issue a late ship stamp. Okay, now thereafter you will be allowed to load the cargo onto the ship, right? After the loading is over, now the mate receipt, this is known as the CACTA document or provisional certificate. Okay, this will be issued by the captain of the ship. Now, after getting the mate receipt, the copy of the mate receipt, AR4 or AR4A, and the shipping bill, you will get the bill of lading. This bill of lading, again I am telling, that is a very important document. Now next, the last step, that is a disposal of documents. Here you have to know what are the documents to be submitted to the bank. Now, commercial invoice, full set of clean bill of lading, and the certificate of origin, export contract, and the copy of letter of credit, bill of exchange, packing list, GR form. These are the documents that you have to submit to the bank. Now, what is commercial interest? What is the meaning of the bill of lading? What is the certificate of origin? That you don't need to know at this stage. In the next lecture, I will clarify all these things. All these things are very vital documents, and you have to know what is the utility of these documents. In the next lecture, I will prepare a lecture, separate lecture for export documentation. There you will understand. Now, you can understand why it is needed to submit the documents to the bank. The reason is very simple. You have to submit these documents to your bank, that is known as the bank in your country. That bank is known as a negotiating bank. This negotiating bank will submit all full set of documents to the bank in the importer's country. This bank is known as the issuing bank, right? The issuing bank will check each and every documents in details, And if they are satisfied with the documents, then what they will do? They will release the payment to the negotiating bank. Now, from negotiating bank will reimburse with the document. And these documents, what the issuing bank will do? The issuing bank will hand over all these documents to the importers, and only then importers will take the goods in their possession. Okay, and out of this, I am again telling you this bill of lading. Several times I have told you, bill of lading is very important. Until and unless you have bill of lading, that's too in the original, and the clean bill of lading also I will tell you afterwards. If the bill of lading it should be original as well as it should be clean. Okay, until and unless you submit the bill of lading to the importers cannot take the delivery of the goods. Next, for claiming the incentive, you know that in order to encourage, the government has also several schemes for providing the incentive to the exporters. Now, to get all those incentives, the exporter has to apply along with the definite format, excise rebate format, the copy of AR4 or A4A certified by the customs officer, and a copy of the bill of lading. Remember, this bill of lading is a copy of the bill of lading. Original bill of lading will be submitted to the bank, and the bank will submit it to the issuing bank, and issuing bank will submit it to the importers bank. So this is the copy of the bill of lading. And the claiming the duty drawback, this is the another incentives that the exporters will get. This duty drawback may vary from product to product, and it may vary from time to time. Sometimes it may be 8%, it may be 9%, it may be 7%, 10%, whatever it is. So they will get a certain percentage of the export value. And to claim the duty drawback, the exporter has to submit the pro forma invoice. They will have to submit the bank certified copy and the commercial invoice. Sorry, pro forma invoice is no more required. The moment the commercial invoice you have to submit. And next is the copy of the bill of lading and the shipping bill. If you submit all this, then only you will get the duty drawback. Okay, so this is the entire steps how the export is being carried out. First, you have to become an exporter. You have to register to get an IC number. Next, you have, after receiving the export order, you have to examine the terms and conditions. Then you have to execute the order and get the product inspected. Then you have to get your product from the cleared by the customs, cleared by the excise authority. Then you have to hire the clearing and forwarding agent. They will help the exporters in obtaining the customs clearance. After customs clearance, and all the goods will be shipped to the vessel, and thereafter you will get the documents. This document you have to submit